our current power crisis has got to do a lot with the country being broke financially. Yeah, we have a serious challenge, which I think everybody is aware of.
Yes.
Aside COVID, possibly the government is trying to put it on COVID, but our brokenness is actually not from COVID. From where I stand, even before COVID, we had the government setting up committees to look into issues of of our economy.
Yeah.
I think in the sense that we are not able to settle our debt we owe to the independent power producers. Yeah, so let's take it off politics and then be frank to our people or ourselves that this is not generational issue. For generation since 2017, this government has been singing in our ears that we have excess generation. We generate excess power.
Has to do with resources we need to get in place to improve upon our generational capacity, or the quantity or the number of kilowatts we may need to generate power for the entire country. But you trying to talk about taking it off politics. I think politics is one of the reasons why we have always been in doomsor. People or even grown-ups are talking about doomsor from the era of the late 80s until even this current situation. But one unfortunate thing that happened is we had the highest peak of doomsor within the 2012-2016 period, which we needed to come together as a country with the aspects we have in the country to get this resolved once and for all. But we decided to play politics with it. So playing politics with our doomsor issues alone is one of the major challenges we are facing as a country, which is going to continue um, making our doomsor situation worse. A lot of people have talked about our doomsor situation from the 80s, and we can put that as someone who, let's say, someone who is sick and then needs a first aid. If you continue giving the person first aid and the things are not, the health condition is not improving, you need to seek for more attention elsewhere. So you see, from the 80s, I think what we were doing was just giving our energy sector first aid until we had its peak in the 2012-20 to 2016 period under the presidency of John Dramani Mahama. And under this period, we all know what happened. It was political, purely political. So that's pushed the government into taking decisions they needed to take in those periods to make the citizenry happy. These decisions, in one way or the other, could solve our doomsday situation forever. But because we have always been political with it, you know, we all knew under the era of His Excellency John Ajokum Kufuor, they were talking about generational capacity. We weren't generating enough as a country to meet our demand. And that's um, was solved in one way or the other by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama when he came to power by buying a lot of power batches, and then to the extent of now how we are having our gas um, production or gas supply from our own country, that is in-country supply of gas. All these measures have been put in place. But you see, after 2016, 2017, doomsor wasn't there, 2018, doomsor wasn't there, and now we are back to square one. It's because we are playing politics with it. So someone will come and say, just like you said, we're generating excess capacity, without us looking at the quantities or the amount of monies we spend in those periods. Since everything is okay within those periods, we weren't paying attention to our energy sector. And that brought us to this situation once again. If we were paying much attention and thinking about what to do to make the energy sector better, I'm not sure we would have been here. But because we weren't having lights out, we didn't pay attention to it. We gave a solution to doomsor and thought we all know definitely there will be more need for demand for power as population increases. So we didn't pay much attention to it, and here we are today. We squandered a lot of resources during COVID. Resources we were supposed to push into energy sector, ESLA, which is the energy sector levy, and all those ones. We used them, collateralized them, and then took loans. So a lot of resources were wasted, and a lot of resources are currently being wasted. That alone is not putting the country in a very good position when it comes to solving our power crisis forever. So I don't think we playing politics with it is a way to go anyway. But politicians will always do that. So I think doomsor it's likely to stay with us for a very long time. Yeah.
The issues of dumsor has actually been with us for a long time now. It didn't start under John Mahama. Just that governments before him didn't want to accept the responsibility of solving it. H.E. Muhammad just only accepted the responsibility. Okay, yes, there's dumsor. I've accepted that and I'll fix it. That's what he did. And that's why we saw the energy minister under him, when he couldn't fix it, had to resign. Then another energy minister was appointed. That was and then later, at least, even the then running mate, who is His Excellency Baumia, on was it on Joy also, Joy FM also, actually admitted that John Mama had fixed Junto as at then. That was 2016. Yeah, the early part of 2016. He said John Mama had fixed Junto, but then we shouldn't give him credit for that because he created it. Forgetting that even under HE before we had Dumsor. So the politics we've been playing with Dumsor has actually been the canker, not allowing Dumsor to go. Yes.
What do you see in the president communicating team on their responses to people complaining that the doing so is too much? They should give us a timetable and everything.
Well, I think it's been more of arrogance, power drunkenness, and pomposity from the aspect of the energy minister. I mean, even up north, that we don't expect that we have a lot of factories that will consume a lot of energy. They also experience this power outage. So it's only for them to admit that yes, it's unfortunate we have them so back to us again. But then these are our plans to fix it. But I mean, to come calling Ghanaians names and giving us all sorts of excuses or sugar-coated words in the name of just wanting to tell us there's no doom. So I mean, come on, they should attach a bit of credibility to Ghanaians. It's not every Ghanaian who does politics when the person complains. I mean, yeah.
I think some of them can afford solar panels and
Or
they can afford or
generators.
generators for their homes. So they don't really care whatever happens. How sure are we that all of them don't have generators and then solar panels in their home for their families? And how sure are we that they are always in the country? Most of them get the opportunity to run away, go and stay somewhere else and then come back. But yet still, when they come back to Ghana and face doom, so they are okay with it. They think that is normal. But when they go to Dubai or any other places and they don't experience the doomsor, they feel very comfortable there. But here they don't feel comfortable, but they still speak as if doomsor is something that is normal, but it's not. But I also say doomsor is something that is going to be a generational problem if we don't come together as a country to work it out. There are a lot of experts in the area who know what really the problem is, and we shouldn't kick them aside just because they are not speaking to favor we those in government. I think communications teams should know that Ghanaians today are not Ghanaians of 1994. We are discerning Ghanaians now. We are more educated than we were in 1994. So if you are communicating to people, we should know that it's not all about lies, and we shouldn't be taken for granted as citizens. Currently, everyone is suffering. You know what we went through today? Our phones are still on charge. I'm sure I'm around 10-15%. It's doomsday is real, it's there. So let's face the fact and solve it. If you don't admit to the doomsday, I'm not sure you'll be able to solve it. So I think they should be honest. They should be honest and speak.
Just adding up, I think we are not able to solve them. So currently, they are not able to do anything with regards to that because of their failure to accept that we have them. So
Okay.
it's just like human being, you being sick and then not wanting to accept that you are sick. How do you then find treatment?
Yes. Also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until the government accepts that yes, there's doomsday and these are the diagnoses, these are the issues. So they now tackle it head on. Trust me, there's no way they can solve it. So the first step to solve doomsday is actually for the government to admit that there's doomsday. Then we cannot talk of solutions. Until then, trust me, whatever we say will fall on dead ears.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and we shouldn't be looking at short-term solutions.
Absolutely.
Doomsday should be something we look at. We should have a well planned out documents, or maybe even a law. We should pass something that successive governments should follow with regards to our energy sector. We can't continue solving temporal problems and then someone will come and then We can't solve. We can't continue
Permanent
solving problems
yeah.
and then someone will come and make it a temporary problem. If we had kept the same mechanisms or systems that were kept in place, continuing with ESLA to just to pay off all the debts we had in the energy sector, I'm sure by now we would have been in profit with ESLA because ESLA was supposed to be for 5 years, I think.
Yes, yeah, they
Yeah,
came
so
extended it.
and then that has been extended by this government. If we're able to pay off our debts, I'm sure by now we'll be thinking of generating more power. Currently, we are exporting power to some of our neighboring countries.
And that
But if we are not
can't
able
even
to meet the demands of our own citizenry, how do we export power?
And what we are even forgetting to do is projections. It isn't for nothing at all that we have this our uh, national census and other stuff. It isn't for nothing, but for us to project population and economic growth.
Yeah.
And the more the population increases, definitely there will be demand for power.
Yes.
The more we expand our economy, definitely we will need demand for power. So imagine the government chanting one district, one factory, 1 watt, 1 watt, and then still they are saying we have excess capacity. So if we are not producing power in excess, unless for household consumption and current factories we have, how then do you get power to power other factories you'll be coming in with, especially with your flagship project, one district, one factory? It's not possible.
It's not possible.
So we will need to generate a lot of power, unless we sell power to other countries, our neighboring countries, sell to them, and the rest we use that to let's expand the economy. Because we can't expand our economy without power.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So, in my final remarks with regards to this our blight issue, I think we have to also start falling on alternative sources of electricity or power.
Okay.
Let's not be too focused on our hydro dams and the other power batteries that we are using. Solar in the northern part of the country is going to be good. We can explore that option. I remember when His Excellency Nanado came to power, he said all ministries were now going to be using solar.
So yeah.
I wonder
Including
what has
Flagstaff
happened to
House. I
that.
don't know why.
I don't know whether there's a ministry in Ghana that's actually using solar. I'm not too sure about that. So I think we shouldn't be paying lip service to certain things like our power sector. We have to be serious about it, and we have to explore other options of power generation. Solar is a way to go. As I know a lot of big men who on TV are talking about having solar panels in their house, and they are not experiencing the dooms that we are facing here. So I think it's a way to go as well. We have to concentrate on other sectors of that.
I don't know, because I actually wanted to admonish the government and Ghanaians to go more into our renewable energies, especially solar. Since here, unless we possibly might think we cannot do the wind turbines, but with solar, I think there are lots of potentials for that. And then and out, there are lots of advancements in the solar, technological environment.
Okay.
Yes. So I think we tapping more into solar would help us a lot. And even if we go down upper east territories, I think there are some communities that are mainly powered by solar. I've seen solar farms around that territories, and there are lots of companies also here. I visited one solar farm in what's the name?
Which region?
Just in Accra here some time ago.
Okay.
Free zones. Free zones. Yes, there's this solar farm there. So I think we can rely more on solar. The technology I mean in and out is getting cheaper, is getting more advanced and all that. And 2 years ago, to shock you that 2 years ago, the German government was actually admonishing their people or its citizens to use more power because they've stored a lot of renewable energy, and then they had to do away with the old one they have, the old power they have, so that they can store new. So they were admonishing their people to use more energy. So at least we have this kind of good working relationship. In fact, it even extends beyond working relationship with German. If we can't, why can't we get the German government to at least support us? Not financially, because we like financial support, getting financial support from
that is where
countries
there
a
are
lot.
shortcuts.
In fact, even our nationally determined contributions for climate change, we are not even able to finance that. We depend on the Canadian government and other governments. So this, I think, financially we should be able to tackle it. Technical, if we can, we should get the German government to at least give us that technical support.
Yes.
And I know, come on, we have lots of engineers in Ghana.
Yes, there are a lot of brains in the
We have
country.
a lot of smart brains in the country that can help us solve this. Yes, so renewable energy is the way to go.